Monday and welcome to my channel. I'm Christina Danielle, and in today's video I'm doing a breastfeeding Q&A. What I did was on my social media I basically just put up a post asking if anyone had any questions. I'm a breastfeeding mom. I've been doing it for almost a year now, and so I can answer questions for you guys, and these are the questions that I got. So I'm just gonna get right into the video because it kind of is a lengthy video, but I hope this video is very informative and will help someone, especially like a new mom that's breastfeeding, because breastfeeding, I mean, for some people it can be like this easy thing and it just comes natural, but for others, you know, a lot of people struggle with it. Well, a lot of women actually struggle with breastfeeding. So I hope that I can help someone, at least one person, with their breastfeeding experience. All right, now I'm gonna get on in the video. Okay, so here are the questions. If I'm looking down, I actually printed them all, so I'll be looking down a lot, looking at the paper. But all these questions I will put down below in the description box, and I'll also be putting like the YouTuber's name or their Facebook name down here so you guys can check them out. All right, my first set of questions, MonkeyBusinessnv. Okay, the first question is, did you have any difficulties breastfeeding? Yes, I did. In the beginning, it was really difficult. I was having latching problems, but I think majority of my problems was actually me. I was freaking out about breastfeeding even prior to my baby being born. I was kind of like obsessing. I wanted to go to classes. I wanted to know all this stuff. But really, I think I just had to relax, you know, take a deep breath and like just know like, girl, you're gonna be okay. But I definitely did have a latching issue in the beginning. All right, number 2, did you use or going to use a breast pump? I did use a breast pump. I used 2 different kinds and a manual. I know 2 of them are Nele, and I forgot the other one, but I'll put that in this video so you guys can see. And how long do you plan to breastfeed? I set a goal up for myself to breastfeed for at least 6 months so that my baby can reach get all the benefits from it. But I've surpassed 6 months. I'm so excited. Hendrix will be a year old in about 2 weeks, so I'm gonna make it to my year mark. I'm so excited, but I don't really know. I'm just kind of going with the flow. I don't think that I would breastfeed past 2, so I guess that's like my cutoff date, 2 years old. All right, these questions are from All Things Nele. The first one is, how long does it take for your milk to come down? I can actually feel my letdown. It's like a, I don't even know, it's like a tingly, weirdish feeling, but it does not take long. I think within the first like 20 seconds my son starts, like you can tell it's going. And you can also tell like if your sons or your baby's like like you can hear them like swallowing, you know that that milk is coming out. All right, second question is, what do you do if your nipples are irritated? Lanolin. Lanolin is love. Lanolin is the best thing ever. And then also my mom actually told me that my breast milk has healing properties in it. So if you have irritated nipples, just take your own breast milk and kind of rub it around your nipple, and that helps so much too. But lanolin, in the beginning, lanolin was like my best friend. And then also to help with that, make sure you're letting your nipple air dry, because that's another thing that can cause thrush, and that's a whole nother story that you don't want. So letting your nipples air dry and latching properly will help with irritation of your nipples. All right, third question, what do you do to keep your milk supply strong? So in the beginning, every 2 hours. My son was eating every 2 hours, like constantly. So that right there alone, you have to think like your breast milk is supply and demand. So the more that you're breastfeeding and the more that you're pumping or whatnot, the more your body is going to produce. So the best thing you can do for your milk supply is just to continue working it. Continue working the breast. Also, once we got in like a good routine and he was older, I actually pumped. And I started like a really good freezer storage to the point where I couldn't even pump anymore. I had to stop. So pumping also helps too, but just remember, if your body's on a schedule and then you throw it off, you're gonna get engorged. Your boob is gonna be a little painful, but pumping and your baby's eating or feeding keeps the supply strong. All right, next question is, what do you do to keep your milks heavy and consistent? And that goes in the last question, just making sure I'm putting my baby on. So now that Hendrix is almost a year, I've definitely kind of slowed down. I'm just letting him do what he wants. I've introduced juice. So of course my supply isn't going to be as heavy, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm perfectly fine with it. And if need be, I have plenty of milk in the freezer. All right, what food should you avoid when breastfeeding? That right there for me, anything that's gonna make me gassy or upset my stomach or make me feel like yucky, I'm gonna keep away from my baby. So keep away from me, just so he won't be gassy. Well, yeah. Since Hendrix is a year old, now he's eating a lot more table food. So now it's just like I'm eating whatever I want to. But for the most part, I try to stay away from spicy things, especially anything spicy, because you have to remember, like, what you eat is going to go to your baby. So you don't want to cause any type of upset stomach or anything like that. So just be careful. If something gives you heartburn or upsets your stomach, it's probably going to do the same for your baby. So just be careful, especially with spicy food. All right, how long after an alcoholic beverage do you pump before feeding? So this is called like the pump and dump thing. I have not had more than one glass of wine, and 1 glass of wine is perfectly fine. You can still go on breastfeeding your baby. So that question right there is like a toss-up with me, because I have not like went crazy, took shots or anything while breastfeeding whatsoever. But you know, I just go with what you feel comfortable with. Like if you're like, wait, I'm nervous after 1 glass, then go ahead and pump and dump. Just make sure your baby has, you know, you have a freezer stash that you could go to. But I haven't, you know, went all in and then and then tried to breastfeed my baby. I definitely have not done that yet. What do you do when you become engorged? Engorged is like the worst thing ever, let me just say. But it's totally easy to fix most of the time. You can try a hot shower and turn your back towards the water, and whatever it is about that hot shower, it just gets that milk going, like going. I mean, I don't even know what it is about it. I've also heard that I have not tried because I didn't want it to mess up my supply, but my grandma told me cabbage leaf you just place on your boobs and something about it helps. I don't know. I have also pumped, and while I'm pumping, I'm massaging my breasts to come down. And then also your baby. Your baby's emptying out your boob all the way. That will definitely help with you being engorged. And if your baby is eating and he or she is now full and you still feel a little engorged, that's when you could come in with the pump and pump to empty your boobs. So the goal is to empty your boobs. All right, last question is what to do when breast pads don't prevent leakage. I have not personally had that problem. And you kind of only leak towards the beginning and middle. Once you hit like closer to 1, all that stops because your body like is regulated or whatever as far as breast milk comes. You can change your breast pads more often. So I don't know, if you need like every 2 hours, change those breast pads. Or, you know, feed your baby a little bit more often or pump more often to empty out your boobs. I've even heard women actually cutting your menstruation pads in half and putting in there because it has more hold as far as liquid and stuff goes. But I haven't had that particular problem, but I have had leakage problems, and it has been when I forgot to pack a pad, and I was in Walmart and I was just thinking about my baby, and it just come on out. But it happens to the best of us. Next question is from Rock Your Glory. How did you feel when people looked at you while breastfeeding? Girl, at first I was so nervous. When I tell you I was like shaking, I was like looking around, like, oh my God, like I don't want nobody to say nothing to me. I'm gonna go off on somebody. Like, I was so nervous. And then like I got more comfortable with breastfeeding, and you know, I had a little cover up. So I was just like, you know what, I'm feeding my baby. If you don't like it, you can gladly turn on around and go somewhere else. And I was perfectly fine. And then my son got to the point where he didn't want to be covered at all. So it was like, oh God, now my boob's gonna be all out. But I kind of learned to use the tank top method. So under all of my shirts I have on a tank top. So I just have my nursing bra and my t-shirt and then my tank top underneath, if that makes sense. So you can't even see nothing's exposed. And then I just go on about my day now. All right, this is the tank top method that I was referring to. I'll breastfeed anywhere, anytime, any place. I ain't got no problem with it. You just gotta get comfortable with it. Next question is from All Things Soto. How do you keep up your supply? I struggled so much when I went back to work. And that's what I talked about earlier. With you going back to work, you definitely should be pumping about every 2 to 3 hours consistently. And some things that you can do while you're pumping at work, you know, if you have a video of your baby, you know, play that video while you're pumping. Or if you have a picture of your baby, look at, you know, the picture of your baby. If your baby's with a caregiver and you can actually talk to your baby on the phone or hear him making little cooing noises, do that. But it's very important to pump. And it is, I don't know if it's worldwide, but I know it's a North Carolina state law that mothers are able to breastfeed in a facility, and they should have an area designated for you to pump and stuff like that. I know the hospital that I worked at definitely had that, so definitely look into your laws about pumping, but keep that supply going. You have to pump consistently. Get yourself on a routine consistently and pump. Pump, pump, pump. And my last question is from YouTuber Alicia Jones. This question is, how do you stop? I have been at it for 2 years now. Well, like I said earlier, I'm still going on. I actually had to ask my mom about this question because she is actually a breastfeeding consultant, and she said you just want to wean them off like you would do the bottle or anything else. So when you get ready, you know, just kind of cut back and supplement like some juice for it, and just take your time and, you know, just slowly wean them off. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have a problem because Hendrix gets a little aggressive, especially at nighttime, but I'm not to the point where I just want to be like, no, he don't get no more food, whatever. But I'm sure at 2 years I'm gonna have the same issue as you. But that is all my questions. Thank you all so much for the questions. I hope it was very informative. I'm not a professional at all, but I'm just going off my experiences as a first-time mom and exclusively breastfeeding my baby for up to a year. You all just share this video. You never know who this video can reach or help. Like I said in the beginning, breastfeeding is not always the easiest thing to do, but it's the best thing that you can do for your baby. Thank you all so much. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I am doing a giveaway, a 500 subscriber giveaway. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the iCard for you guys and go check that video out. It's only 2 simple rules, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for my next video. Bye.